In 2016, Palomar College started its program of Spanish for Heritage speakers. Palomar is a small community college in the county of San Diego that is very close from the border and has a population of around 5,000 full-time students. Now, 3,000 of these students consider themselves Hispanic, and one would think that in this context, a class like this would be very popular, but the reality is that only 7 students registered in that first class that was open. Now, this program faced several challenges, but I'm going to summarize the main ones here in 4 categories. The first one was the challenge of the counseling department. The counselors thought that they were doing a favor by sending students to register in a lower level class, even though that class was designed for students of Spanish as a second language. So they thought it was a good thing for them and a possibility for them to get a better grade. Students themselves were the second challenge. These students thought that their Spanish was not good enough. They thought that they didn't know the grammar rules, the accent mark rules, and they thought they were going to be in disadvantage by taking a second year class. The third challenge came from some of the faculty at the World Language Department, senior faculty that had been trained in all ways of teaching languages, and they didn't think that heritage speakers were capable to acquire a high register of the language and use the language in academic context. Now, the last challenge was the administration. The administration wanted the department to create some prerequisites for these classes. They wanted to have 2 years of high school Spanish, or students to have passed Spanish 102 with a C or a better grade. Now, as you can imagine, it's very difficult for a heritage speaker of Spanish to give documentation, academic documentation, or transcripts to prove that they actually speak the language when they have learning from their grandma or their grandpa or their parents. So this was a very unrealistic requirement, these prerequisites. Now, how these challenges were addressed? They were addressed with 3 tools: education, education, and education. The department presented in front of the counselors and explained them why the speakers of Spanish as a heritage language were a very sophisticated type of learner that could not be in the same class as a second language learner, because that class had been designed for different needs. The students also received education. A member of the faculty of the Department of World Languages went to all the classes of Spanish as a second language, trying to fish those students out of those classes by explaining them what was being taught in the Spanish as a heritage language class. With that education of students, she also educated the faculty themselves, and eventually they were the ones that started fishing those students out. The last challenge, the administrative one, was faced with the work of the department and the Office of Articulation of the college. The Officer of Articulation created a formula by which he got rid of the prerequisites and did a recommendation of enrollment that was accepted by both the UC system and the Cal State system. So that class was eventually, once the students pass it, they could transfer it to a 4-year college. So eventually was accepted by both systems as a transfer course. Now, today, in the 2024, Palomar offers 4 courses of Spanish as heritage speakers every semester. Each semester we offer those 4 courses, and the classes are full. The classes have waiting lists, and we're in the process of requesting from the dean a few more classes to be open in the future. So finally, our Hispanic students get the classes they need and certainly the classes they deserve to be fluent, prepared, and good speakers of Spanish. Thank you very much. Bye bye.